Welcome to our new video. Rain in the forest is more than weather, it's a signal. A veil that blurs what's real and lets the hidden things walk free. When the skies open and the trees drip with silence, strange things stir just beyond the firelight. These are 3 true-style horror tales from campers who learned. In the rain, you're never alone. Story 1. The Man in the Tree. It was a long weekend in October when Emma, Dan, Jess, and I decided to go camping in the Olympic National Forest. We'd all been friends since college, and this trip was meant to be a break from our hectic jobs and digital lives. The forecast warned of rain, but we figured we could tough it out. That was our first mistake. We hiked for hours into the dense woods, away from campsites and cell service. It started raining that afternoon, a steady drizzle that turned into a heavy downpour by evening. We pitched our tents under tall evergreens and tried to make the best of it. The rain thudded on the tent like a heartbeat. Around 10 p.m., we sat inside playing cards by lantern light, the air damp and cold. Then we heard it, something moving in the trees. We paused. It wasn't an animal sound. It was heavier, human. A crunch, a branch snapping. Dan unzipped the tent and shone his flashlight out. At first, nothing. Then he whispered, "Guys, look up." I peered out. There, maybe 20 feet above the ground, was a man standing on a thick branch. Perfectly still, barefoot, soaked, just standing. He didn't move even as the rain poured down on him. Jess muttered, "Is he stuck?" We stepped out, and the man looked down slowly. I'll never forget his face, wide eyes, wild grin, and then, with terrifying speed, he ran upward. Not down. Up into the higher branches, faster than any human should have moved. We screamed and backed into our tents, all trying to process what we'd just seen. Dan wanted to go after him, but none of us could make our legs work. We sat there, shaking, listening to the rain and the occasional crack of distant branches. At sunrise, we packed in silence and left without breakfast. We hiked for 6 muddy hours, barely speaking. Days later, back in town, we mentioned it to a forest ranger. He nodded slowly and said that area's been strange since a hiker went missing 2 months ago. Search parties saw footprints going straight up trees. He looked us dead in the eye. Whatever you saw, be glad you didn't follow it. Story 2. Whispers at Oak Ridge. Back in 2017, I decided to challenge myself with a solo camping trip. I chose Oak Ridge in Tennessee, a thickly wooded park with quiet trails and scattered camping clearings. I figured a night alone with my thoughts would do me good. I reached my spot by early afternoon and had the tent set up before the sky turned gray. Thunder echoed in the distance. The rain came quickly, drenching the trees and soaking the leaves. Still, I was dry inside my tent, reading by flashlight. Around midnight, as I turned over to sleep, I heard a voice. Faint, garbled, like a whisper just behind the canvas wall. "Jason, my name," whispered, slow and raspy. I froze. I hadn't told anyone where I was, and I certainly didn't expect visitors in the storm. "Who's there?" I called, voice shaking. No answer. Just the rain, heavier now. Then, another whisper. Closer. "Jason." I unzipped the flap and scanned with my flashlight. Trees. Rain. Darkness. No one. I told myself it had to be the wind. Maybe the rain tricked my ears. I zipped back up, heart pounding. At 3 a.m., I awoke to scratching. Light but deliberate, circling the tent. And again, "Jason, come outside." I leapt up and flung the tent open. The rain had slowed, but the ground was soaked. I saw them then, bare footprints in the mud. Small, human, and circling my tent in loops. I didn't sleep again. At dawn, I packed and hiked back without breakfast. When I told the ranger at the check-in station, he turned pale. "You were at Oak Ridge alone?" "Yes." "You're not the first." Same story. Whispering. Footprints. We've had 4 reports like that in the past year. Always during storms. Always the name. "Who is it?" I asked. He shook his head. "Some things stay in places like that." I never went camping alone again. Story 3. The Lost Child. 3 years ago, my brother and I took our kids camping near Lake Morrow in North Carolina. It was supposed to be a bonding trip. Our children, my daughter Ava and his daughter Lily, were 7 and 6, excited to roast marshmallows and tell ghost stories. On the second night, a thunderstorm rolled in. The wind whipped through the trees, and lightning lit the sky every few minutes. Around 9 p.m., as we played cards in the main tent, Lily said something that chilled us. "There's a boy outside. He's crying." I looked at my brother, then unzipped the tent. "Where, sweetie?" She pointed to the tree line, maybe 50 feet away. "Right there." He wanted help. But no one was there. Just shadows and rain. We brushed it off as a dream or imagination, but Lily remained uneasy. She wouldn't go to sleep unless we left the flaps slightly open. At 2 a.m., I was woken by a faint sound. Crying. Not Lily, not Ava. A child deep in the woods. I sat up and listened. My brother heard it too. We grabbed flashlights and called out, "Hello? Are you okay?" The crying didn't stop. We ventured into the woods, stepping over puddles and wet roots, following the sound. It always seemed just out of reach. After 20 minutes, we realized the crying was leading us somewhere. And then it stopped. Silence, except for the rain. Then came laughter. Childlike, high-pitched, echoing. We turned in circles, flashlights darting. Nothing. But on the ground, footprints. Small, bare, circling where we stood. More than one set, like 5 or 6 children had been running around us. Then the trees began to shake behind us. No wind, just movement. We ran. We didn't know where. Just away. After nearly an hour of stumbling through the wet forest, we found our tents again. The kids were asleep, dry, untouched. The next morning, we asked a nearby hiker if they'd heard anything strange. He looked grim and said locals call them the lost ones. Kids who drowned in that lake decades ago. They say during storms, they come looking for new playmates. We packed up and left before noon. I haven't been near that lake since. If you like this video then, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe this video.